What a very touching entrance today. Thank you to Ian for piping. I'm Eunice Friesen, and I'm honored to be here today to help you say farewell to your dear mother, grandmother, and friend, Terry Dale McNutt. Thank you for being here today, and thank you to those joining us online to support Leanne and Perry and their kids, and Lori and Steve. Terry was born in Fredericton, New Brunswick, to Horace and Marguerite O'Leary. She spent her early years in New Brunswick, and then in the late 50s, the family moved to southern Ontario. They settled there, making it their home. Terry's parents started up a boarding house, and then in the early 60s, this is where she met her future husband, Lorne Buzz McNutt. On April 4th, 1964, they got married and began their adventures together. They bought themselves a little farm in Canfield and started their family, having 2 daughters, Leanne and Lori. They moved to a few other farms in the area around in Ontario, and eventually, as most of us do, they made their trek west to Alberta and started to make a better life for their little family. The first stop was Vermilion, and they finally settled in Claremont. Claremont became their home for 41 more years. Terry worked a few jobs from when they first got to the area, but eventually, along with Tom and Rena, they started a secondhand store and a household auction. From there on, they had a secondhand store until Lorne retired. Terry, not being one to sit still, worked at a local hotel until she retired in December 2019. Travel was a passion for them both. Trips to Mexico, Vegas, and Cuba were amongst her favorites. She loved her trip to the UK, she couldn't say enough about, and she loved California vacation as well. And she was talking about going again soon. She loved hitting the road in the RV, whether it was on their own or with friends. They just drove across Canada a couple of times and up to Alaska. Camping was a must, just about every weekend. She loved the outdoors and she loved fishing. She was also very much a volunteer. She liked being involved in her community and throughout the region at different events. The Canada Winter Games, over 20 years in the VIP section of Bud Country, the Claremont Ag Society, and making little blankets and hats for preemies at the hospital. The list goes on. She was someone you could depend on and was very passionate about her volunteer ventures. She had a heart of gold, as most people who got to know her could attest to. And she seemed to have extra kids all the time, from Leanne and Lori's friends, and then Christine and Taylor's friends. She was mom and nanny to them all, and all who knew her. We'll miss her. Terry was predeceased by her husband, Buzz McNutt, her parents, Horace and Marguerite O'Leary, and she will be greatly missed by her family, Leanne and Perry, Lori and Stephen, and the grandkids, Christine and Jonathan, and Taylor and Brittany. Many nieces and nephews, friends. So we will be having an open mic in a little bit, and I tell you this ahead of time so that you can begin to think about some memories that you might like to come up and share. So while you're reflecting on some of your favorite memories of Terry, I'm going to invite Lori, her daughter, to come up and share some of her memories.
Hello, I'm Lori, Terry's youngest daughter. Thanks everybody for being here to celebrate her life. Mom's sister Cindy and cousins Megan and Kevin in Ontario are watching, as well as our family and friends that are online in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, BC, and Alberta. Mom was always quiet and in the background. She was stoic and let everyone else shine. As it turns out, she was the strong one of the family and the matriarch. She kept her family together single-handedly. Ann Barwick, a friend of Mom's, once said she didn't spend much time with beige people. And that's fitting because Mom's life was so colorful and interesting, sometimes quite hard. Even though in the difficult times in her life, she was kind and caring and had a good sense of humor. Her family always came first. We spent time at Mom's, Dad's house for countless visits and amazing meals. She was the axis of the family. And we will miss her. We will forever miss her. She and Dad were married for 56 years. They had 3 different farms at 3 different times and a new and used furniture store here in Grand Prairie. They had 2 daughters, Leanne and I, 2 grandchildren, Chris and Taylor, and 2 great-grandchildren, Lydia and Wyatt. She gave so much of herself to things she believed in. Mom volunteered with Brownies when Leanne and I were in the program, for the hospital, for Bud Country for 20 years, for Canada Games in 1995, the Claremont Ag Society, and she made quilts for the baby in the NICU, the ICU for newborns. The quilts that she made were a work of art. She spent thousands of hours, and they will be keepsakes that we'll cherish for many years. She said she had 2 hobbies, buying material and quilting. Mom gave time to Bud Country because she loved it. They would phone her after the first few years she volunteered, knowing that they could count on her. They told her what time she was volunteering at the VIP tent, and she would write it down. No hassles. She met Keith Urban at the Bud Country without knowing it. Leanne told her it was Keith frickin' Urban. And Mom said, "Oh, he was a nice young boy, and he's pretty small, hey?" It's too bad that Bud Country stopped, but she moved on. She poured her heart and soul into the Claremont Ag Society. And after Dad passed. In fact, it was Mom's idea to start the kids' Christmas gift shop. She gathered donations and made it what it was. It was the first time I saw the whole club stoked. Everything was $1 or $2, so the kids could afford to buy something for their family. We had a huge turnout, and she was pleased as punch. The women of the Claremont Ag Society had told me that they are going to name the kids' Christmas gift shop after Mom, thanks to the egg ladies. Mom and Dad loved traveling, taking the motorhome down east and back, flying to Nassau, Cuba, Mexico, and Vegas. She also loved going on girl vacations, with Sheena to Cuba, Anne to Europe, and Leanne to California. She relished camping too, fishing, boating, and most of all, laughing. She laughed so hard sometimes, right from the tip of her toes. One time we were in Zellers, and she started to push the cart. And I was going to offer to push it, but instead what came out was, I push. And Mom says, "Okay, darling, you push." And we stood in the middle of Zellers laughing like a couple of fools. Then there was her driving. Sheena can attest to this. Sometimes when we drove out to ceramics, she'd drive partially in the ditch, and Leanne after a while just said, "Mom, you're in the ditch again." Garage sailing was never right unless she hit 1 or 2 curbs. Then she ran smack dab right into the light post on my lawn, breaking it in half. When I got home, first thing I thought, oh, Mom must have been over. And when I talked to her, she said, for God's sakes, don't tell your father. I just hope Dad's driving up there. I wouldn't want her to run into Jesus. Sorry, Mom. When Leanne and I were young, and when Chris and Taylor came along, our friends called her Mom, and Taylor and Chris's kids called her Nanny. She welcomed them all into her house, and if a stray showed up, she'd set an extra place for them. In fact, when Dad was in the hospital, once there was a lady in the man in the next bed, and his wife was visiting. She was talking, they were from out of town, and she was talking about getting a hotel room. Well, Mom wouldn't have that. She offered the spare room to her. And they never kept in touch, but I'm sure that Mom's generosity was always in her mind. Mom was frugal, though, reusing things, making items instead of buying them, and shopping for sales. Every time a flyer came out of Safeway, either Leanne or I would get a call. It was like an operation. She'd say, Safeway has turkeys for $12. Tell your sister, pass it on. She always loved a good sale, and we always joked, start the car, in light of the IKEA commercial when we got into the vehicle. Mom was also an Avon lady. She delivered orders to her customers and now friends, right to their home. Most of the time, she would chat and have coffee with them. Mom even stopped and helped do forms that one of her customers needed help with. It was never about the money for her. She lit right up after lending a helping hand for a friend or acquaintance. I loved that about her. She was nice, but don't get me wrong, she wasn't always so sweet and innocent. She disliked our Prime Minister with a passion. Once she started talking about him, the disdain would show, and she would honestly get a bit scary. She would, with the slow burn in her eyes. When Leanne and I were kids, we did kid things, and never really noticed the sacrifices our parents made for us, like most kids, I'm sure. Mom worked a full-time job, came home, made dinner for us, and then worked in the barn until the evening. Life was hard for such a young woman. I didn't appreciate it then, but now, in retrospect, I sure do. She's always been a go-getter, a hard worker, and she still made time for all of us. Our childhood was wonderful. We were farm girls and mostly busied ourselves with our imagination because she gave us the space. Mom made holidays special, and she was always behind the scenes, though she never took credit for it. We miss her dearly. Speaking of driving, we drove her up the walls sometimes. In fact, there was a sign in her kitchen that said, "I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I work for it, I owe it to myself, and nobody's going to deprive me of it." I'm sure Leanne and I were a reason for that very sign. In fact, one time Leanne and I were arguing in the kitchen, and we heard a coffee cup smash on the wall behind us. We turned to see the anger in Mom's eyes, and we slinked out quietly. I still think we were lucky to get out alive that day. On the same farm in Fenwick, Ontario, there was a horse that gave birth to a colt. Under the electricity tower, the baby was running in the field, but the mare wasn't around. She'd been struck by lightning and was gone. Mom raised that foal by hand, feeding him by bottle at first. She named him Sammy, and he grew quickly, but one day he got in the tack room and put his leg through the glass of a window and badly hurt his leg. His damaged leg couldn't be fixed. That night, the colt was put down, and for the first time, I saw my mom cry. My heart went out to her, and I saw I remember wishing that I could take away her sadness, but I didn't know how then. Even after years of living, I still hadn't learned how to take her sorrow away. And after Dad passed last year, it broke her heart. It was the one superpower I wish I had, especially now that she is gone. After Mom passed, I was overwhelmed with how many positive comments there were about her. Mostly that she was good, a good soul. She was friendly, gave her ear to listen, and a smile to brighten someone's day. Seeing so many people say such nice words of our mom, it made my heart swell with love and pride more than ever. She truly had a heart of gold, quirks that we love, and a family that will never be whole again. We will honor her memory with the stories about her, the good and bad times, because we went through them together. She was one of a kind, and we were lucky, all lucky to be part of her life. She will always be right here. Rest in peace.
Thank you, Lori. So you have been fairly warned that the mic will be open for some tributes in a moment. John, did you want to start us off? Thank you. When John is done, if you'd like to come up and share some memories or a story of your own, even just a few sentences of it, how you'd talk amongst friends, you're very welcome to do that.
I'm Jonathan. I married Terry's granddaughter. When I first came into this family, I didn't know what to expect. Like always, I thought, hey, this is cool. Terry invited me over to dinner when Christine and I were first dating, and that ended up being tradition right till she passed. Dinner time at Terry's. Every time I smiled, it didn't matter what, she had a hug. Everyone had her own way of saying hi, their own memories of Terry. Mine was the fact that you stand back, even in the midst of the chaos, you saw Terry with a smile. She'd stand back, she'd look at people. Didn't matter what situation you were in, didn't matter what you had or how bad your day was or how good it was. Terry would give you the shirt off her back. What really I'm going to miss most, just her kind heart. No, even if I would come home and have a bad day, I can always walk the grandkids down and bring a smile to Terry's face, because Terry would always have cookies, and naturally, I have to have one too with the grandkids. I will really miss Terry, and we all will miss Terry because we all have our own bits and pieces of her in our hearts, and that's what makes her so special. I will miss you, Terry. Thank you for letting me into your family. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Mel, and at the tender age of 12, I met Leanne, and consequently, I met another set of parents. Buzz and Terry were always the sweetest people. It was very, very comforting to have a welcoming place to be. Over the years, got to watch the world through their eyes, and it was fun because we watched Buzz become a counselor and watched Terry support him through everything. Meeting the people that I met through Buzz and Terry, pretty spectacular. It's amazing. The people that touch our lives and how much we will miss them when they're gone. But we can hang on to the wonderful things that they've done for us, like bringing up my hopes. When I was 16, Buzz says, "I bought you a car for Christmas." Yeah, it was a car about this big with a remote. Fun times and good people. Again, somebody who would offer a meal, a comforting hug at the time of day. Those would be the things we miss. And I'm thankful that those people were part of my life. And I will miss them both.
I'm Brittany. I haven't been around very long, only about 4 years. And when I started with this family, I immediately got a really great greeting. Everybody accepted me, and everybody was very, very, very friendly from the start, even when I was going through weird phases. I've always been antisocial. I've never been good around groups or people, and my family was never very outgoing or did very many things in life. And it was always very great to come to a place where there was always dinner and there was always a family and always people to talk to. And Terry always even had a dinner for me for my birthday and did things for me that made me feel special and made me feel like I had a place in this family. And that's all. Thanks.
My name is Steve. Not normally much of a speaker, don't have a speech. Just felt very compelled to get up here and thank everybody for showing up today. I can't really say much more than everybody has already said. Terry was an amazing lady, huge part of my life. I lost my mother at a very young age, and she definitely stepped in and took that role. We did a lot of camping together just about every weekend when I was younger. Had a lot of good laughs. Nothing in particular stands out right now. She will be missed.
I see you're worried, afraid of what's next. You hope there's a plan. How could this be best? Don't fear for me, I'm not afraid of the rain. Just getting things ready till we're together again. I'm moving on to a road less traveled. I'm moving on to a place where I can rest. Don't worry for me, it's time to go. Being called home to a place I know. So now I'm moving on. Life has been special, more precious than words. Good times and bad times, love and the hurt. I'm proud of who I am and the path that I've led. I have no regrets, it's been worth it in the end. I'm moving on to a road less traveled. I'm moving on to a place where I can rest. Don't worry for me, it's time to go. Being called home to a place I know. So now I'm moving on. My only wish that you live your life full. Don't mourn for me, go and celebrate it all. I had all that anyone could ever ask for. So thanks for the memories, I'll be waiting for more. I'm moving on to a road less traveled. I'm moving on to a place where I can rest. Don't worry for me, it's time to go. Being called home to a place I know. So now I'm moving on. So now I'm moving on. on the far side of the sky. The first thing that I'm gonna do is spread my wings and fly. I'm gonna land beside a lion and run my fingers through his mane. Or I might find out what it's like to ride a drop of rain. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. I'm gonna walk with my granddaddy, and he'll match me step for step. And I'll tell him how I've missed him every minute since he left. And then I'll hug his neck. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. So much pain and so much darkness in this world we stumble through. All these questions I can't answer, and so much work to do. But when I get where I'm going, and I see my Maker's face, I'll stand forever in the light of His amazing grace. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going.
You fought a good fight. May you rest in peace now. You've earned the right. You stood brave and tall. The ultimate price. We honor you now. For God and
It's a wonderful thing to be here and hear these stories and memories and everything that Terry's life brought to yours. As I reflect on the candle going out at the end of that slideshow, it seems to me that a candle doesn't burn in a life without igniting others. And certainly, even though Terry's candle has gone out, she burns on in the lives of everyone that she touched. I heard that time and again today. There are a few things that really stood out to me. Some virtues of character, some qualities that Terry displayed that I'd like to share with you quickly. Terry was a woman of great enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is being filled with spirit. When we live with enthusiasm, we're excited about life and we're open to the wonders that each day holds. We do things wholeheartedly, with zeal and eagerness, holding nothing back. We allow the excitement of the moment to fill us, even if it's just over a shopping cart in the middle of Zellers. We enjoy good humor. We live in the moment and we appreciate what we have, finding joy in simple pleasures. Terry found joy in many simple pleasures. She threw herself wholeheartedly into the things that she enjoyed, like reading and traveling and camping and quilting. Quilting is where we continue to see Terry's creativity. Creativity is the power of imagination. We're open to inspiration, which ignites our originality. We take time for dreaming and we know how to play. Discovering our own special talents is a gift to the world, whether it's making a meal or playing a sport or making a quilt. Creativity connects us to the beauty of sound, design, color, movement, ideas, and words, and it allows us to bring something into the world that stays behind when we go. Terry didn't keep her quilts. She shared them with others, and that is just one of the ways that she displayed generosity in her life. Generosity is a quality of spirit that calls us to share what we have and allows others to give to us. Every gift is doubly blessed, bringing joy to both the giver and the receiver. Generosity helps us give time and attention to the feelings and needs and views of those around us. It springs from a sense of abundance and gratitude for the limitless richness of life. When we are generous, we give cheerfully without expecting anything in return. Her shirt off her back is what we heard John say. Terry would give you her shirt off her back. She had meals prepared and a special one when it was your birthday. That is generosity. It's also service. Service is using our gifts to be the fullest expression of our lives. Each day when we are living in service, we find a multitude of ways to be useful. Whatever we may achieve, the quality of our own life comes from the quality of our contribution. We notice what others need. We discover their wishes, and we respond helpfully without waiting to be asked. A spirit of service invests whatever we do with excellence. We give our very best effort to others. People who want to be of service can change the world. There are people who benefited from Terry's acts of service who may never realize that they have. There will be generations of children at the Claremont Ag Society who shop in a little store and bring something home for Christmas. And that was Terry simply answering her call to service. Terry was, perhaps most of all, a woman who lived and shared love. Love is at the center of our being. It is the vital source that gives us energy and direction. I heard that Terry was the best mom anyone could ask for, and that Buzz and Terry became an extra set of parents. We heard about Terry's love for her girls growing up, and her love for Buzz, and her service to him in the last few years. This is Terry's love in action. Love is an irresistible attraction and affection for a person, a place, an idea, or even for life itself. Love is cherishing others and treating them with tenderness. Love thrives on acceptance and appreciation, and it has the power to heal. Love calls us to continually hone ourselves while releasing the need to control others or make them in the image that we want. Nurtured by commitment and seasoned by her kindness, love was Terry's greatest gift, and so it is yours. As we go our separate ways today, back into a world without Terry's flame present, we can rest in knowing that those she's touched carry with them her enthusiasm, generosity, creativity, her heart of service, and her love. And each time you practice these gifts, you can do so with gratitude in memory of Terry. I'll close in prayer in a moment, and you're invited to stay and enjoy some time of fellowship with Terry's family. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of Terry's earthly life. We thank you for the years you gave her and the character that you shaped in her, her service to others, her love, her generosity, and that we were blessed by her gifts in our lives. God, as we end this time together and bid a last farewell, we ask that you bring comfort to every friend and family member. Be with them each and every day and let them rest in your faithful care in the coming days and weeks. We pray this in your loving name. Amen.